Alright, let's talk about one of the biggest, most disruptive technologies of our time, cryptocurrency. You've heard the name, you've seen the headlines, but what is it really all about? In this explainer, we're gonna cut right through all the hype. We'll break down the fundamental concepts from the big idea that started it all to the major players you've probably heard of. So let's dive right in. So to really get this, I want you to think about something for a second. What if what if you could be your own bank? Seriously, imagine sending money to anyone anywhere on the planet and it gets there instantly. No asking for permission, no waiting for business hours to take over this simple but really powerful idea. That's the core concept that sparked the entire cryptocurrency revolution. So, what even is it? Well, at its heart, cryptocurrency is just digital money. It's designed from the ground up to be faster and, more reliable than the traditional currencies we use every day. But here's the absolute key. It allows you and me to transact directly with each other, peer to peer, totally cutting out the middleman. Okay, to make sense of all this, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the why, the big idea behind crypto. Then, we'll dig into its foundation, which is the blockchain. After that, we'll look at how the whole network is kept secure, break down the different kinds of digital assets out there. And finally, we'll do a quick rundown of some of the major cryptocurrencies you've probably heard about. Alright, first up, the big idea. To really appreciate what cryptocurrency is trying to do, you first have to understand the problem it was actually built to solve. The main goal here is pretty straightforward. Create a financial system that's faster and cheaper by getting rid of the go-betweens like banks. Now, when Bitcoin first showed up back in 2009, this was a pretty radical concept. But since then, that idea has just exploded, spawning over 1,500 different cryptocurrencies, all trying to build on that original vision. So you might be wondering, how does any of this work without a bank in the middle? And the answer to that is a brilliant piece of technology called the blockchain. The easiest way to picture it, just think of a giant shared digital receipt book that everyone can see. Now, this isn't just one receipt book sitting on a single computer somewhere. No, it's what we call a decentralized ledger. That means that copies of this book are stored on thousands and thousands of computers all over the world. Every single transaction gets added as a new line. And because it's shared everywhere, once a record is made, it's pretty much impossible to change your chip. That's the secret sauce that makes it so secure. This is where you can really see the advantages shine. I mean, traditional banks have business hours, right? Blockchain is always on 2, 4, 7, 365. That international payment that might take a few days to clear through a bank on the blockchain. It can be validated in just minutes or sometimes even seconds. And the fees? Well, when you take out those middlemen, the cost can drop a lot. This brings us to a super important question. If there's no central bank or authority in charge, who's making sure all these transactions are legit? How is the network kept honest and secure? Well, transactions get verified and added to that digital receipt book through something called a consensus mechanism. It's just a fancy way of saying how everyone agrees on what's true. And the two most common methods you're going to hear about are called mining and staking. They both do the same job, but they go about it in totally different ways. This chart really breaks down that different approach. Mining, which is also called proof of work, is basically a race. You have incredibly powerful computers all competing to solve a really complex math problem. The first one to solve, it gets to validate the next block of transactions and is rewarded with brand new coins. It's super secure, but man, it uses a ton of energy. Then you have staking or proof of stake. This is more like an investment. People lock up their own crypto as collateral and they get chosen to validate transactions. The rewards are more predictable, kind of like earning interest, and it's way more energy efficient. Now, the crypto world is actually a lot more diverse than most people think. When you hear someone say crypto, they could be talking about a few different types of digital assets. And believe me, they are not all the same thing. The most important difference to get your head around is between coins and tokens. Coins like Bitcoin are designed to be a form of money and they run on their very own unique blockchain tokens. On the other hand, are built on top of existing blockchains like Ethereum's. And here's the cool part, they can represent almost anything of value. You can think of stock in a company, the deed to house, even a concert ticket. It's best to think of them as programmable digital contracts for just about anything. Okay. The third big category is the stablecoin. Anyone who's even glanced at a crypto chart knows the prices can be, well, a roller coaster. They're incredibly volatile. Stablecoins were created to solve exactly that problem. They peg their value to a much more stable real world asset, like the good old US dollar or even gold. The whole point is to have a digital dollar that doesn't swing wildly in price. There are a few clever ways they keep that price stable. Some are backed one to one by actual currencies, like dollars held in a bank reserve somewhere. Others are backed by a collection of other cryptocurrencies, and then some aren't backed by anything physical at all. They use a smart algorithm to automatically manage the supply and keep the price right where it should be. Okay, so now that we got the fundamentals down, let's take a quick look at some of the biggest names, the major players in the crypto game. And of course, we have to start with the original gangster, Bitcoin. This is the one that started it all, created way back in 2009 by the mysterious and anonymous Satoshi Nakamoto. It was designed to be a pure digital currency, and its supply is famously limited to only 21 million coins ever. That scarcity makes a lot of people think of it as a kind of digital gold. Next up is Ethereum. Now, if Bitcoin is like digital gold, then Ethereum is more like a decentralized world computer. It's huge. Innovation is something called a smart contract, which is basically just code that automatically carries out an agreement. For example, you could write a smart contract for a bet on a football game that automatically pays the winner the second the game ends. No bookie, no middleman needed. Then we've got Ripple or XRP, which is laser focused on the world of finance. Its main goal is to make instant international payments possible, but not just for money. We're talking about any unit of value, dollars, yen, even your airline miles. It's designed to be a universal bridge between all these different kinds of value. Here's that stablecoin concept in action. This is Tether. It's the leading stablecoin out there, and it's designed to do one thing and one thing only: always be worth exactly $1. A lot of crypto traders use it to hop in and out of more volatile coins without having to cash out to traditional money every time. Finally, you just can't talk about crypto without this story, because it perfectly captures just how weird and wonderful this space can be. Dogecoin. This thing was literally created as a joke in 2013 to poke fun at all the crypto hype. But then something amazing happened. A massive fun and super passionate community grew around it, and against all odds that joke coin soared in value. Which just goes to show you that in crypto sometimes community and belief are the most powerful forces of all. So there you have it. We've covered the why, the how, and the who of the cryptocurrency world. Now that you understand these fundamental building blocks from decentralized ledgers and smart contracts to stable points, here's a question for you. Which one of these innovations do you think has the most potential to actually change our world? It's a huge question, and when the next decade is really going to start answering. Thanks for tuning in.